That's me on the cover. Monumentata from this year, 2025. My dad's old tennis racket. I still have it from the 50s. I got 2 of his old tennis rackets. My dad was a tennis star in the 50s. He passed away last year at the age of 96. I hadn't seen him in 9 years, or at the time 8 years. He wasn't a very good father. He was, I don't want to say anything bad, but you know, I wish maybe we had a better connection. He was a complete narcissist and an alcoholic, and he was married 6 times, just like Henry VIII. My mother was his first wife. I was his first child, and he was 31 when he fathered me. My mom was 19. Long time ago now, 1959 in West Covina, California. Anyway, when he passed away, something snapped in here. I just came off stage. We were in Winterbad in Germany playing with Steve Hackett. And I got a text from my dad's 4th wife, Penny, saying that my father had passed away in his sleep the day before. The band was still playing, and I was getting ready for the second segment, the Lamb stuff. So I remember just the band came back out to the dressing room area. Actually, there were tents outside because we were playing a huge tent. And I said to Jonas, well, no, my dad is also gone. And so, and everyone saw that something had happened to me. So I got a big hug from everyone in the band. And, I wasn't really sad or in shock. It was more like, my God, now it's only me left. I mean, my siblings too, but both my parents are now gone. It was like a new dimension of life in a way. So that whole thing with my dad's passing triggered the idea of Monumentata. It was a monumental feeling, and Tata means daddy in a kind of childish way in Hungarian, and my dad was half Hungarian. My grandmother was from Budapest. My grandfather from Scotland. Anyway, so I had already started to write for this album back in 2021. Right after Spiritus came out, I started to work tentatively with ideas, you know. One of the earliest songs for Monumentata is Wildfire. I already started with that in late 21. It went through many changes. We can go through the songs in order. But that was the first one I started to work with. Secret Lover, it's a killer of a track. It's really heavy, very aggressive. Just like I remember Mike Rutherford was talking about back in New York City for Genesis song for the Lamb. So heavy for us, he said, if you compare to what they'd done previously. I mean, back in New York City is really heavy. And this is like my Back in New York City, if you like. No, but it's a heavy track. And it features Malcolm Miniman on drums, Jonas Rengel on bass, me on keys, all vocals, Randy McStein on rhythm guitar with me on rhythm guitar, twinned. And then the fabulous David Kolar from Slovakia on solo guitar, whom I had discovered through Steven Wilson's album, I think it was To the Bone, when David tracked to solo on a song called Detonation, and I just thought, what an interesting guitarist. He is an anarchist. He's doing things I never heard someone doing guitar before. I contacted him and he was on. But it took a long time to finish the recording. The drums were the last thing that was tracked. No, drums and bass. Like a year and a half after the song was basically finished, they came in. And then followed by That's Not Me, written in December 2023, just before we went on the road again. And got Mirko De Maio back on drums from the Spiritus Mundi sessions. Got Tony Levin on bass again. So Tony actually now plays bass on 4 of my albums. I'm very proud of that. You know, he's a legendary bass player from King Crimson and Peter Gabriel. Recorded with hundreds of artists. He's a workaholic. He's now 79 years old and he won't stop, which is fantastic. So That's Not Me is a very cocky song about me going through culture clashes, traveling around the world. Also very heavy. Then moving into one of my favorite songs ever, Monte Carlo Priceless.
You can modify the science of days you've seen. You may stay alive until you've lived your dream. But your history just cannot be replaced.
Monte Carlo is a place where my dad played tennis. See, that's where the idea came from. He played matches there and he won, and even has plaquettes on the wall and in Monte Carlo, the tennis facilities there. But the lyric is about someone else. It's about a Canadian woman who escapes this tumultuous relationship and has a facelift and moves to Monte Carlo and becomes a luxurious prostitute. But it's just me and my weird ideas, you know. Very 60s sounding song. The whole bit where I started singing about Monte Carlo Priceless, that to me is like, I don't know, Burt Bacharach maybe, you know, that world. But in the now, it brought it into 2025. But actually that was the first song to be completely finished for the album. I think it was already finished 2 years ago. Mirko played drums, I play bass and guitars, vocals. I think it's just us. Moving into Flowerland, which is definitely my favorite song of the album. It has everything that I love about music. It's got nice melody, the verses, which you're not sure if they are the verses. Now this is the tricky thing with Flowerland. You don't know what is what, but you like it. It starts out very melodic with a guitar and playing a very melodic guitar. Same sounds that I used for Monte Carlo. It's the same patches. I just used the same again. I was in that world. And so you know, I was in my 20-something. That sounds like a verse, but later on you start to, I don't know, it becomes almost like a chorus. Weird. And the bridge sounds like a verse, and then the chorus sounds like a bridge, and the bridge sounds the verse again. I don't even know. It's a totally weird construction of a song, but it works, and it's one of my most played songs ever from this album, I should say, on streaming platforms. And it's flowery, it's gorgeous, it has a 60s vibe again. It's about an old hippie couple reminiscing over the youth and beauty, and you know, like I said, they were probably at Woodstock in '69. Fun track. From Flowerland we go into Wildfire, the one I spoke to you about before, and that Nick Beggs on bass, Marco Miniman on drums, me on keys and all guitars and all vocals, and Lalle Larsson on synthesizer solo. That is a track that I worked very hard on. It had a different beginning and different ending. I changed that. I took those bits out. It was just too much information. And then so that's how it evolved into what you have now. Those big lush vocals in the beginning when the drums and the bass kicked in together was something that came in almost lastly. I thought of the Flowerland, the big choral sounds there. I was like, oh, better keep that. I like that. But I took out the female voices. I just female samples. So it's just me and some male voices, some samples as well. I like to mix my own voice with samples, so it just doesn't sound like me. Now Wildfire is a very, very funky, groovy track, and I'm very proud of that. And it's actually me doing the guitar solo, but it's more like a written solo. It doesn't really sound like a like an improvised guitar solo. Then we have Make Somebody Proud, a title I've had in my head for years. Not the song, just the title, Make Somebody Proud. And I had the chorus, that whole segment, had that on a sketchboard, the chords and the bass and then down, 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 down. I thought of, why not reuse that attitude from The Bride Said No, when the girls sing, ha, 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 ha. So I had Jane and Shiona coming out and doing that. The verses was something I had in my head for years. So that's Felix Lehmann on drums and Jonas Rengel on bass, and me on all guitars actually, I think. Apart from the solo, which is again David Collar doing a fabulous solo. He is such a he will take your song somewhere else and you want to stay there. Brilliant guy. Very sweet. And handsome. That he is. Better not continue there. What else do I have? I'm Stepping Out. Felix Nerman on drums, me on bass, and I think the rest is me, but I have Joe Dennison on violin, of Kansas fame. That's my camp song, my coming out song as a gay man. I felt it was time to come out, so I did in that way, with a fantastic video where I portray 5 different characters. I am the vampire, I am the Mad Hatter, I am the widow, I am myself, and the quartermaster, of course. The quartermaster, the bearded guy, that's me. It's not easy to remember everything. And that is almost like Pink Panther kind of a vibe to it. We got the harpsichord mixed with the clavinet. I'm very fond of the clavinet, so I use that a lot on this album. And it needed a bit of theater. You needed to have the vampire just coming back for a short bit and say, hello, I'm still here. Even though the album was not about the vampire. I thought my fans liked that. Just do something like that. Okay, so that's a fun track. Watch the video, you'll like it. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I'm Stepping Out is the name of the song. Okay, lastly, Monumentata. Very emotional. Very, very emotional. I sing 3-part harmony on the choruses. You got Felix Lehmann on drums, Tony Levin on bass, and the rest is all me, I believe. It's about my father. It's about what could have been but never happened. The loss that really wasn't a big loss, because the loss was there from the beginning, because he split when I was 2. We met a few times. I went over there to California in 1972 to spend 1 year with him and his new family. He sent me home after 3 months. He sent a telegram to my grandparents and my mother saying he's coming home. He didn't even get a reply because they hadn't seen the telegram, so it was just so irresponsible. It didn't work out for me in America with my dad. I was 13. It was a hopeless time in my life anyway. I was totally into horses. That was what I did. I was bullied at school as usual. So I was bullied at school from 6 or 7 up until I was 13, 14. Then that changed because I changed school and everybody was suddenly very nice and friendly. And so that went away, thank God. That was horrible. Because I was different. You know, you're different. When you're that age, you're supposed to belong. And I didn't belong. Anyway, Monumentata sums up the album. And there's a video for it too. Watch that.
Monumentata.